I've never noticed all the orbs in that picture. They're lovely, aren't they? Oh, it's new, is it? That's why I've not noticed it. All the spirits all joining us to join for you. Anyway, good afternoon. Welcome to Yarn, if you believe in that. Welcome to Yarn Lane, the only shopping channel in the UK that is totally and utterly dedicated to everything yarn, whether it be crochet or knitting, got both today, or macrame, or tatting, or loom knitting, or all the things we've done. Our granny squares. Granny Square is very popular. Anyway, welcome, welcome, welcome. I will show you the website in a minute. Before I do that, because Rebecca Reed is normally on the Monday, she's having all of the Mondays off in June because Yarn Lane has grown so enormously. She needs each of those days just to catch up and develop all the new shows for you. So I've said I'd step in every Monday for her. She also does, on her shows, she does a Yarn Lane Loves, which is where we bring you something that she just absolutely adores. She can't be without. So I've got 2 Yarn Lane Loves today. Look at this, brand spanking new. Now, if you look at these, you can think, what's that, John? What's that? They are knit blockers. They're rainbow knit blockers for efficient and effective blocking of your project. You get 12 blockers with 8 pins and 8 blockers with 4. Now, before I open it, please keep this away from children. I'm just going to say that because they're rust-resistant stainless steel pins in here. But look, I just love the colours. So look at this, right? So there's your pins on a bar holding in place. So when you do your blocking of your shawls or your blankets and things like that, aren't they lovely? But they have got sharp pins on, not sharp for you and me, you know what I mean? We're fine. Oh, he says that. They're sharp. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 with the large ones, and you get 8 of the small ones. Look, can you see that? I'll put my hand there so you can see them. Aren't they lovely? How much is these? £15.99. No, it's just something you've got, and then you've got your lovely storage box. And what I love is the storage box has actually got foam in the bottom of it. So when you push them in, they sit in the foam at the bottom. There they are. And then when they're not being used, nice, firm. It's plastic, this, not cardboard. Keep them all safe away from prying hands, because you know what? Little kids are going to see those colours and just want to play with them, aren't they? So keep them safe and away. Oh, Carol says that's good. The Yarn Lane works on the app. Glennie says beautiful colours. Dawn says, I thought I'd missed you. You'd gone all quiet. Me? Quiet? I don't think so. Right, and then look, in here, you've got all your instructions of how to use them. Now, take note of what they're pinning into, because a lot of you I know are after these. So that's the German side. There we go. Instructions to use knit blockers. And if you are learning German, then on that side there. Unlike me trying to practice my Norwegian the other day on Anakin Anis. Anyway. $15.99 for that little... it's a Yarn Lane Loves Knit Pro Rainbow Knit Blockers pack of 20. Quarter of the stock has gone already. They are used in conjunction with these. Now, you might have seen these in kiddies' play areas, because I think to start with, that's what they kind of were meant for. People create floors with these, don't they, for kiddies' play areas, or play mats for them, right? But if you've got a shawl that you need to block, now, most blockers are about that big, aren't they? You know what I mean? Most blockers, the nice one, wooden one we sell, it's just a tiny bit bigger than that, isn't it? If you're making a great big blanket or a huge shawl, you need a bigger area, don't you? So, okay, so you go. So the pins are $15.99, and these tiles, you get 1, 2, 3 blue, 3 yellow, 3 green. I don't think they're random. I think these are the ones you'll actually physically get. And they just slot together like this, look. You can make a lovely big area. I'll tell you how much exactly you can make in a minute, because I'm sure it must say. Not when I've built it. I'm only going to do a small bit like that. Let me have a look, see if it says here. There are 9 mats. Oh, here we go. We need to work this out. 9 times 30, 270. So it's 270. So it's nearly 3 meters each way. Is that right? No, that's not right, John. No, hang on. So hang on. Each of these are 30 by 30. So if you've got 9, you'll be 3 and by 3. So it's going to make, look, this is how wide it's going to be. Yeah, I'll just spin it. It's easy. So it's going to be like 1 metre by 1 metre, isn't it, if you've got 9. There you go. Yeah, that's, ignore me. It's going to be 1 metre by 1 metre.
36 inches.
What, say?
36 inches.
It's 36 inches,
So
is
there's
it?
30 centimetres is 12 inches, isn't it?
Oh, is it? Well, I don't know, is it? 30, 30.
It is, isn't
Oh,
it?
yeah, the 12, so
Yeah, it's a
they're a
ruler,
yard.
isn't it?
It's
Yeah,
a yard
yeah.
across and a yard down, look. I said I wasn't going to build the whole thing, but you know what? I'm enjoying myself now, having a laugh. This is a yarn lane, loves. Look how easy it is to put together. And you could then, oh no, that blue one has to go over there.
Oh. Now you're going to have two yellows
No, but you can have it as a plain mat as
you're
well.
gonna have 2 yellows together.
Oh, yeah, well
Should have
done.
kept it the other way.
Yes, well done. 2 yellows together. I might have wanted 2 yellows together, but then I've got the green in the wrong place now. There you go. There, look. I might sit and have my lunch on that later. There's nowhere to sit and have it next door, is there? Anyway, isn't it clever, says Dawn. Yeah, so hang on, Dawn, I'm going to show you. So if you got a shawl, I haven't got a shawl, look. So you block your shawl or your blanket, you dampen it, you put it out, you just put it through here like this. Oops. And these just go straight in like that and hold it in place. Aren't they brilliant? Aren't they just brilliant? So they are today's Yarn Lane loves. Get those back in the right place there. Brand spanking new today. Please, as I say, please keep these pins away from children. That's all I'm saying. Or Hannah or Elliot. They said that, not me. Yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it? And then imagine you could do the whole of it. Well, you could do blanket blocks. You could do whatever on there, couldn't you? And they can get wet, obviously, because little kiddies, you know, get overexcited sometimes. I'm sure they're washable clean. They can be used individually for smaller projects, or like mittens or gloves, or could be joined together for larger projects. Doesn't say if they're washable, downable, but I'm sure they must be. Anyway, I'll leave that there. I'm going to keep that out for a second then. Right, so this month's block. Let's start with this month's block. Let's have a look at it. Let's have a look at this month's block. Here it is. This month's block, knitting. There we go. So what does that code end there? 85. So this is your block for knitting. You get your pattern. You get your yarn, which is rather beautiful. I'll get it out. They're both the same colour, whether you do the knitting or the crochet. But this is the knitting one. Each board is 100 grams. You get cream, you get denim. It's frightening because I'm learning these. Raspberry and apple. And there's the instructions, and your block will look like this. This is block 2, or series 2 even. Series 2, block 2, garter and corner to corner square. Designed by Wendy Orlando, and there it is. That's this month's knitted, right? Lovely. Now, this month, over half the stock's gone. Over half the stock has gone already, right? We also have, are they exactly the same yarn? Right, so I can just do this, I can just swap this over like this. So if you do the crochet one, you get the same 4 yarns, but that's the block you'll make if you're doing crochet. Now, I need to warn you that last month, I wasn't here for this, but last month, the crochet went like that, just... Okay, please be careful, right? 14.99, that's the finished one. Now, it's not a little granny square, that. It's about, how big are they, Wendy Orlando? Come on, you've designed it, you should know the size.
Well, it depends how big your tension is.
Oh, okay, she's getting all fussy.
I'm not, it is that.
Don't turn the microphone on. There you go, that's the crochet one. That's the crochet one, that's this month. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, oh no, I didn't know you were doing this. Why, I haven't got last month's. Never fear. Right, I've got knitting one first. I'm going to put these away so we don't get them confused. Knitting one comes up first, ending. Oh yeah, show the knitted one for the last month then. There you go, knitted. This is last month's knitted now. Just in case you didn't get it, That is last month's knitted. So in this one, you get apple cream. That doesn't look like a denim in that one,
No,
does it?
that's Aster, I think.
It's Aster, is it? And then the red one will be Scarlet or something like that, I think, wouldn't it? Lipstick. Well, how could I get that so wrong? Lipstick.
Might not be Aster.
The blue is Aster, and the red is lipstick. We need to do something about this desk, Elliot, because it's moving further and further and further to the left. No? Anyway, it's moving away from me. Afternoon, John and Wendy. Looking forward to the show, says Susan. Dawn says you could put all those things on a wall and do a peg mood board. Oh, you could. That's a brilliant idea. Right. Oh, do you know what you could do? You don't use it so much for knitting. You put it on the wall, fix it, and then you could almost put, if you're doing blocks for sewing from Sewing Street, put your design wall, your K-Facet design wall, pin it on, do your design wall, take it off. Then anyway, that's your knitted. That's your knitted last month. Last month, crochet. It's the same colours, same colours. What does last month's crochet look like? Is that it? No.
It's half of it.
It's what?
It's that's it.
There it is. There it is. That's last month's. There's an awful lot of noise to the neighbours upstairs, isn't there? You can't hear that at home, so don't worry. $14.99. So you get the instructions. You get now, so you'll always have the instructions at home. So if you finished the block of the month, how many blocks are there?
6 months, there's 12
6
blocks.
months, 6 months, right? So 6 months, right? After 6 months, you might have made the block. You think, oh, I really love. Oh, actually, go put that picture back in. Put that picture back in. You made a few weeks ago. You made a really lovely, like disappearing into a triangle. They'd look lovely all together, all in, like, wouldn't they? And $14.99. That's last month's crochet, right? Last month's crochet. Right, over half that's gone already. Over half the crochet of last month's. Oh my word, over half of last month's has gone already this month. Oh, Nicole on my bottom. This is also tempting. May need to sit on my hands. Lovely colours. Nice to see Wendy back. Always love her shows. From Nicola in Dorset. She'll pay you later, Nicola. Don't worry. Checks in post. Checks in post. Right, so I'm going to reintroduce this month, right? So those two were last month. Let me reintroduce this month, right? So you haven't seen these colours. So I'm going to do the knitting first of this month. Right, okay, so you get the 4 balls. This is this month's brand new today. It's been on pre-order since 8 o'clock this morning. Okay, I know how many we started of these. There's now less than 30 of these. Less than 30. Now you might think, oh, that's loads. It's 12:15. We haven't started a demo, and a lot of people watch Yarn Lane on repeat later. Let's have a look at the knitted for this month. There you go. That's knitted for this month. Oh, no, hang on. Hang on. Can you do this month's different then? Because look, the straight stripes on that one. But look. Oh, look, there's 2 options for both. So you can do either or of those for this month. Either or those. So that's your knitting one. And then this is, oh, now we didn't show the other crochet one, did we? Or did we? Right, okay, we did. So the crochet one is here. So that you can have the choice of this or this. You shaking your head? Oh, hang on. She's shaking her head. You can't have the choice of this or this, apparently. You make both?
You make both, yeah.
Oh, that might have helped. So you make both. You make both. There's enough yarn in there to make that one and to make that one. So the same with the knitting on all of them so far. You make one of each. Sorry, everybody. That's my bad. It does say, oh no, seriously, it says. Oh, hang on, put that picture back. So is that the whole thing? So that's the whole thing crochet. So you can see this month is second one down on the second row and last one on the bottom row. So you'll end up with, that's why you said there's 12 of them. Yeah. So you make 2 a month. So you've already made 2 from last month, which is the top right hand and the bottom left hand. No. No, it's the L-shaped ones.
Yeah.
Up there, yeah, and and so you make 2 a month. Do you know what? I'm just going to go home. Wendy Orlando, everybody.
Don't go home, I'm having too much fun.
Right, go on. Tell me what we have to do.
That's exactly what you've just said,
yeah.
That there's always going to be either this one in the knitted and this one in the crochet
right.
each month. So
Right.
that's like the staple one. So you do one in that colour, and then if you want to progress with us, because this is where we're taking people on a journey. So we're starting with the very basic stitches, and then each month then we're introducing something a little bit harder and a little bit harder.
Right, okay.
And then by the time we get through to all the 6 months, then I'm hoping that everyone will have loads of different skills.
Okay, I need you to we've seen a picture of it, but for real, can
For
you
real.
hold the crochet one out, the whole crochet
For
one
real,
out?
so-
So this is what they will make out of the 12 blocks. They're huge as well, aren't they?
They are.
That's beautiful. I can see now why it's sold out.
And I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to sound like, well, I don't know what size it is, because
No, I'm
absolutely
only messing with you.
everyone
Yeah.
makes
Yeah, because
a
if you do
different...
intention square.
Exactly.
So does it not matter? But no, hang on. 1 month you might be in a good mood, and not you. One.
I'm always in a good mood.
No, you're not. Right, and 1 month you might be in a bad mood. If you're in a bad mood, you're going to crochet like that, aren't you? If you're in a good mood, you're going to crochet like that. Your tension might be different each month. So you do have to check your tension, don't you?
You have to be consistent.
Yes.
And I state that in the second series, that whatever you started in the first, keep the same size needles
Okay.
and the same size hook if you're doing the crochet.
So that was the crochet one we held up. Now let's hold up the knitted one. Oh.
So
I
there's-
like the flowers
there's-
coming
yeah,
up in the
there's
That'll be the
lots-
last one, won't it? The
No,
flowers?
it won't actually.
Oh, is it not?
It's not, yes, it's not that difficult to do.
Okay.
So yes, you've got...
Okay, so now on that one, because we've shown, where are the two for this month?
So the
then?
two for this month are this one
Yeah.
and this one. And it doesn't matter where you place them.
No.
I've just placed them there.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You can put them exactly where you want. And I'm so glad that you've got the blocks on now, because on month 6 we're going to show you how to put it all together and how to block it. But then if everyone can, I have a feeling they're probably going to keep selling out. So if everyone can grab their blocks and their little pokey bits, and then when we get to month 6 we'll be able to put it all together.
Perfect.
There are going to be people that are just doing it for pleasure rather than learning with us. So if they want to put it together as they go along, that's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
What I will just say to you is I'm very loose with my tension.
Right.
And my square is quite big. Now, a wonderful lady called Carol has knitted this for me.
Right.
And her square is smaller than mine. Now, I suspect Carol has the right tension, but I'm very loose.
Oh, so you could end up with a much bigger blanket.
So
would
I'm
you
going to
say?
have a much, much bigger blanket. And you will also see with the knitting, it is one-sided, because this side, you can't see any joins.
Right.
And if I turn it over,
I
you
was
can
going to
see.
say, I quite like that side.
I
better.
like this
Yeah, I
side.
do as well.
But in the pattern, we've done a colour change so that this line is on the same side every time.
Every time, yeah.
If you don't want to do that, you don't have to
No,
do
no,
it.
no. I was going to ask that because obviously not being a knitter or a crochet, I was going to say, does it have a right side and a wrong side? So
It does, but I like this side.
no, that's your choice. So there's nothing like on a fabric. The right side is obviously the bright side, and the wrong side is the plain normally and everything. I know that's not going to happen here, but it's the same strength on both sides. So it doesn't matter.
This particular stitch, this is called the Garter Square. So
Right.
this is the basic square that anyone's going to start with. This is going to be the same throughout the blanket. However, some of the other ones do have a right and a wrong
Oh,
side.
okay, let's have a look at that one.
So this one,
Oh,
you've got-
yes,
so
I
you
see.
can see that
Yeah,
this
yeah,
one
yeah.
has a right.
Oh, yes, because you've got your cable.
Yes,
Is it exact
and you
cable
will
goes
see
down?
that again on this one, you've got, this was last month's, but again, I like that.
I quite like that.
I really, really like that.
But it means that if you don't sew it together yet, when you get to month 6, you're the one the show you will be doing the last one and how to put
them together. And for this one, the Intarsia
Let's
one,
have a
where
look.
you're doing the pattern,
It's a what?
the Intarsia.
Oh, yes.
That's
yes.
got a very, very different. You can
Yes.
see that that's the back, because you take all your.
They look like skeletons looking over
They
a
do.
hedge.
Oh, they do look scary, don't they? But you take the where we literally take the wool along with us as we go,
Yes, yeah.
and that's the effect you get on the back. But
Yeah.
of course, on the front, you're going to get the beautiful
Beautiful,
flowers.
Beautiful.
Um,
That's
so
not this month.
that's not this month.
Right,
Right,
okay,
you will-
before you start, I've got messages for you. Oh, sorry, you need to put some graphs in before we can put the graphs in, then we'll put the message across. Across my bottom. Hi, Wendy and John. I've enjoyed making the first blocks of the month. Never crocheted before. Thanks for introducing it to me from Maureen in Derbyshire. That's the whole reason you did it, wasn't it?
Can I just say, first of all, if you're watching, if she's actually up at this time of the day, happy birthday to my niece, whose birthday today. But secondly, can I just thank everyone that buy our patterns and just...
Well, it's paying for your extension, isn't it? That's what you're talking about. Is that what you're saying?
No, because...
Tell them, not me.
This last week, I've had the most wonderful messages from lots and lots of people and have tagged me, and it's so lovely because they've said they've either never knitted or crocheted, or they haven't done it for years and they've picked it up, and that's what my job's all about. As much as I love all the people that can do it, I want to get to those that can't.
Nice message from Elizabeth across the bottom now. Wendy, I bought last month's knitting BOM and knitted the 2 squares. I have loads of wool left.
That was the second thing I was going to say.
Should I have knitted more squares or use it for the second?
That's exactly what I was going to say to you. I weighed mine, bearing in mind I have loose tension.
Yeah.
And it was about your age, actually. It was 65 grams.
At least I don't weigh 65 stone. Yeah, so why she got lots left over?
Because this weighs 65 grams and you're getting 400 grams in that pack. Now, this is intentional from Rebecca and I because we want you to make them for your friends.
Oh, is it? Or you can make the blanket twice as big because you've got enough to make more blocks if you wanted to, haven't you?
Or you could choose your favourite blocks and make smaller ones.
Yeah.
So we wanted to make sure that there was loads of everything for everyone just to join in.
But they're only $14.99. That's really good buy, isn't it? So you get your instructions plus the 400 grams of yarn. Also, it doesn't go... They're not there so that Wendy's not going to say in 3 months' time, now use your leftover from month 1. That's now left over. That's in your stash. So you can either do more with this project, or as you say, just keep it in your stash to make other things that go with. Like if you have that on your bed, you might want some pillowcases or you might have some cushion covers that you'll then make later on down the line. Because one of those blocks, one of those crochet blocks, would look lovely as a cushion on the sofa in your bedroom.
The whole reason that I've designed it is that these skills are transferable, and you'll see that with the block that we're going to be doing today. Yes, I've made a square, but it's a technique, and within the 6 months we're going to have the 6 different techniques that we're going to show, but what you do with them afterwards. But we wanted to give you some wool left over to explore.
In each, so I'm going to jump ahead now. In each block, are they going to get 4 balls of wool? Like this, 4 balls of yarn like this.
And they're all going to be in one, there's going to be, the cream is consistent because we wanted cream to be consistent all the way through.
If you get to, say, for example, you're doing that one and you don't want to do the intarsia, you could just do one of the other blocks, but in the colourways of that month, couldn't you?
Each month has got an element of one of the other months, but each of the 6 months are a completely different colourway. But it's not to say that there won't be a colour that has been used a previous month.
No. Well, you've got cream and cream, haven't you? So yeah.
The cream is the one that's consistent all the way through. And Rebecca and I spent a long time with these colours, and there was some that worked and some that didn't. So we got rid of those, and these are the ones that just blend and they just go with each other.
Perfect.
But yes, if you only wanted to make a blanket out of the granny squares, fine.
Heidi says, these colours are fabulous. Afternoon, John and Wendy.
Oh, good afternoon.
Right, so should we get on with some knitting?
Absolutely. So would you like to do knitting or crochet?
Hannah first?
What would you like, Hannah?
Knitting.
Knitting first. Right,
okay, so this is this month's knitting block where I'll just remind you, you get 4 balls of the yarn in the cream, the blue, the raspberry and the apple. You also get the instructions to make both knitting blocks, whether you do the straight across and the diagonal, and the diagonal's got a bit of fancy down the middle. There it is. Look, got a bit of fancy. So we're going to do the knitting first then.
That's ribbing. That's called ribbing, John. When you do a knit and a purl and a knit and a purl and a knit and a purl, and then on the other side you do it the opposite, it forms a rib. So that's just ribbing.
Yeah.
And again, the reason, because I do want you to make your skills transferable. That's to show you just how to do something on the centre of a row. But you'll see with this one, we start in the corner and then we get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then we get smaller and smaller and smaller. So you could make the whole blanket corner to corner if you wanted to. I mean, you'd have to have like circular needles.
Big needles.
Well, you'd have to have circular, because the circular ones has that little, long bit of plastic. So the first thing we're going to do, I don't know if you want me to show the garter, because that's literally the base square that comes in all of them.
Can I ask what size needles you're using?
4.5 needles.
And they're all 4.5?
They are all 4.5 if I use 4.5. That's what I was saying, that whatever needle you start with,
stick with it
through the whole series. But this one here is really fluid.
Yeah.
If it's too fluid for you, go down a needle size,
Right.
but it's going to be smaller.
Okay.
If you go up a needle size to make it even more fluid,
Yeah.
it will take more wool, but of course you've got
got
loads.
enough.
So
You've got
you
enough,
could go up.
But always do every single block using the same needle.
Keep the same pair of needles, the same hook. Just put it somewhere safe so you know that's what you use for the block of the month, and you'll be fine.
Perfect.
But it's
All
up
right.
to you. If you don't want to use 4.5,
So
don't.
just talk me through that one. That one there
So
is
this
literally
one-
you start off on your raspberry and you knit one purl, knit one
No,
purl.
this one is the easiest. It's just knit stitch.
The whole thing.
The whole thing. You knit a row,
Turn it
you
round.
knit a row.
Oh, okay.
And that's the beauty of this one, because it's double-sided and it's just the knit stitch. So that was the introduction. That's the basic square that is in all 6 of them.
Right.
If you don't want to do that, just do, well, as you go along, you're going to favour the ones that you want.
Yeah, of course you are.
Just
so
do
that's
the ones you want.
knit, turn around, knit, finish.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay,
That's
fine.
it.
So you-
But it is, but in there I tell you when to change colour.
Oh, no, of course, yeah.
For those that know what they're doing,
Yeah.
they don't even have to do the block of colours we want, that I've done. They could do every other one if they wanted.
yeah.
It's up to them. But for someone that's never done it before, I wanted to show them this is how easy it is.
And also it's nice to know if you do go off kilter, you're going to have enough yarn to do it. It's not like, oh, I'll go off kilter, oh, I've run out of raspberry. You're going to have enough, whatever you do, because it's going to come out.
What if it was me personally and I was doing it and I was new, I would make the first one and then give that away, and then the second one where I've really mastered the technique, I'd keep that for me. But that's just me.
Okay, now I don't want a knitted square for my birthday, thank you.
Okay.
Fine. Right, okay.
So you want the
what are you gonna show
blanket,
us
you
then?
want the whole blanket.
Of course. And more.
Oh gosh.
Oh, sorry, that sounded like they were coming
That
through.
did sound like they were coming through. What colour is best, Hannah, for me to show for you, which is going to be the clearest?
Elliot, which colour's the best one to show?
I got them for you.
The blue, he says.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm shocked by that.
Oh,
as
I was
well.
shocked. I thought that would be the least to show.
Anyway.
I love this blue. This is one of my favourites.
So now, have you rewound your balls, as they say?
Oh, did you not hear? Did you not hear? I have saved and treated myself to the big wooden one.
Well, wouldn't one what?
Winder.
A whisk?
The winder. The
Oh,
winder.
the winder, okay.
Yes.
No idea what she's talking about, but it's fine. I wasn't in, I've been in, I've never seen anything.
You turn your balls so they will arrive as they are in your bag.
Yeah.
And then I always make them into cakes. These are called cakes.
Right.
Because with a cake, and the reason I do it here is because this floor, you can't see, but it's absolutely covered in cotton.
Sorry,
So
Elliot cleaned.
it's perfect down there.
Yeah.
So when the ball is bouncing around, it's picking up all the cotton.
everything, yeah.
Whereas this one, if you can see, I've made it into a cake.
Oh, and it just comes out
And
the
it just
middle.
keeps coming out the middle, which is, I've got a dog, so I have to have it static, otherwise he'd be chasing it around.
Right, sorry,
So
let's go on.
that's
Half past.
okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is make a slip knot, and I have shown how to do all these in the past. So if you just want to go back.
What date did you do month 1?
It was the first Monday in the last month.
Okay, so the
Sorry.
first Monday in April.
I'm awful. I'm sorry. I am so evasive.
Because people who are buying the first one today might want to go watch the demonstration on that day.
Right, so the first thing that we're going to do for this one is we're going to start, normally we would cast on a long row and just keep knitting our square. This one we start from nothing, increase and then decrease.
Okay.
So when I say start from nothing, I actually start with 3 stitches. So I'm thinking I've got my crochet hook in my hand then.
Okay.
Let me start again. So I'm
Okay,
just
you
going
just need to move to your right just a tiny bit.
just
Thank
going
you.
to cast on 3 stitches. And in the back of the instructions, there are pictures showing you how to do each of the steps. But I have shown before.
Oh, yeah, lots of pictures.
Yeah, I have shown before how to do that. Now, I do the method of slip 1. I always slip the first stitch. Now, what that does, if you slip the first stitch instead of knitting it, you're making that stitch then spans over 2 rows. It just makes a really neat edge. Now, we've done that for the new people, the beginners.
But Anakin said that she always does that with her shawls and everything.
I always slip. It gives a nicer edge, it gives a much neater edge. And then in month 6, when we come to join them together, you're going to be able to locate the stitches better. But if you don't do that, if you want to knit the first stitch and you do it a different way, that's absolutely fine.
Becca Reed's messaged in. Oh. I know. She says, Wendy, you're rubbish. You're fired. No, she doesn't. She said, loving the show today, John and Wendy. So enjoy watching whilst planning some Christmas projects and kits for Yarn Lane. You're very distracting. Rebecca, turn us off.
Yeah.
Off.
Don't watch us.
Right, I messaged quickly. Sitting on my hands, didn't work. Just purchased Knitting Block 2. Love this channel from Nicola.
Oh, and please tag me. You'll probably know. You're probably a bit more of a whiz because you're on it more than I am.
What's that?
If someone's not my friend and tries to tag me, I don't show up, do I? But if we're both in the same group, do I show up?
Oh, I don't know.
Because
no, hang on. Is it a personal page or a business page?
Oh, personal.
No, you won't show up then because I tried to do that at the beginning. You know how I at the beginning of the week do, join me this week, I've got Wendy, blah, 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 blah. The people who I'm not friends with, if they've got a company, it shows up. But if it's somebody, I put at and their name, and it doesn't come up as their website.
Because I have missed a couple of people asking for help because I didn't know. So please, if anyone sees my name being asked or mentioned on there, but I don't come up as highlighted.
But a friend of yours could if I saw it, I could then
please tag me because sometimes I feel
I try and do that if I do see experts being asked a question and it hasn't come up as the...
I'm not being rude, it's just I haven't seen it and they hide things.
They go, my sister-in-law Julie says to me all the time, why did you like my picture? And I said,
it goes so quick,
I've got,
doesn't it?
You know, 5,000 people on there, it disappears.
Yeah, it goes sick. So, but what I am going to do, a little bit of advice, is to actually, I've got my 3 stitches that I'm starting off. Just knit the first one because this is the cast on row, and if you slip that, they all kind of fall off. So just knit the first one, but that's the only time I'm ever going to do it. Right. Now I'm going to increase. I need to increase at the beginning of the row, but of course I've only got 3 stitches. Yeah. So it's my next stitch. The increase and the decreases, sorry I was trying to get in the middle, are always worked at the beginning of the row.
Right.
Now the reason for that is then it grows as a right angle. Because if you were to increase at each end, it's going to grow too quick and be not the shape I want.
Okay.
So I'm going to knit it as though I'm going to knit.
Yeah.
But instead of taking it off my left needle, as you would when you knit, you then put your right needle under and then you go through the back of the stitch and knit it. And that is an increase row, an increase stitch. And then I'm just going to knit to the end. Now, I've purposely, again, because I know that we have new people joining us, I haven't done the rib on the first colour.
Right.
So I'm going to do my 6 rows of my first colour. So I slip the first stitch, and a slip just means you take it off the needle without knitting it. I'm going to do my increase in the second, insert your hook and go to knit it, but instead of taking that, slipping off the left hook, you take your right needle under and go in the back of the stitch. And then just knit to the end. And I've done the first 25 rows of this pattern, row by row, and then after 25 rows, or 24 or 25, you will know what you're doing.
Right,
so I should hope so. So all I'm doing is my first 6 rows, so I'm on row 3. And as I say, I'm just slipping the first stitch, I'm increasing in the second and knitting to the end, and that's all that row is.
Okay.
So that's my 4th row, and then my 5th. So I slip that first stitch, increase in the second, and knit to end. And then my last one. So this would be the raspberry, but do you know what? It doesn't matter. If you want to start with blue, you start with blue.
But that's Elliot's fault.
That was Elliot's fault, but I don't mind. Because I do know that some of the colours don't show up so well on the screen.
No, he just thinks blue for boys, pink for girls.
Oh, right, so it's nothing to do with that. Thank you, Elliot. And then I'm knitting. And the reason we do slip that first stitch is so because we haven't put the yarn round and knitted it, it makes a much neater end stitch. So I've done my first six rows. So I'm going to introduce, well, you would introduce a new colour here, but I'm going to keep this colour because it is much easier to see. Yeah. So you would introduce your new colour here, and then you would start the ribbing section. So I will just have a look. I have done it, but I had lots of slips since then. No, stop.
What's that on the table? Oh, is it a stitch marker?
That's my little stitch marker. Right.
Oh, now there's not many of these knitting ones left, I'm afraid.
Oh, okay.
Hurry up then, that means that's Hannah's way of saying, could you hurry up, please?
Oh my goodness. So in the pattern, you will see that you have, at the end of the row, you have a bracket with a number. Now that is how many stitches you should have in that row once you've completed it.
Oh, I see.
So you can always see and check where you are. When you come to do the pattern, you're going to have a centre section that tells you what to do in brackets. Now that is your rib section. Now, for those that are very good at knitting, will think, well, why has she put knit 1 and then she's going to knit 1 after? Why doesn't she just say knit 2? You'll see, if I just show you on a row 9, John, if you see on row 9, I've got a knit 1 in front of brackets, haven't I?
1 knit, include in next stitch.
Increase
In next stitch, knit 1, then in brackets, knit another 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, knit 3,
in
12
brackets.
stitches.
So those ones that are in brackets in there are your centre section.
Oh, I see.
But before then, you already had a knit 1. So instead of saying knit 2, I wanted the people that didn't know what they were doing to see that that is the definite knit 1, purl 1 in the centre. Okay. So I'm on row 7. So it says slip 1, increase into the next. And then I'm going to do the centre ribbing. And it's telling me to do knit 1 and purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1.
Is that all a rib is? Knit 1, purl 1?
That's it.
Oh, you make it look so difficult. Not difficult. All knitting, I can't do that. Knit 1, purl 1. I could do that. Not now. I'm not prepared.
I haven't got a spare pair of needles, otherwise
what a shame. And I didn't bring the new needles to the table either today.
So I just want to. So that's it. That's all you do.
Where's the rib then?
That's just what I'm going to show you.
Okay.
Because once you've gone a few rows, it becomes apparent where the rib is.
Yes, I see.
So this is, we haven't ribbed, remember in that, it's upside down, but we haven't ribbed in that first colour. And then we start, this is the row I've just done, this row here. Yeah. And then the next row will tell you to do whatever it instructs you to do, but you'll be doing the opposite on the way back. So where you knitted, you purled. And that way you'll get that rib effect. Yeah. Now what I will say is...
but you still knit 1 before it. So the 10th row, we knitted 1, then we went to brackets and we knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1. In row 10, you knit 1, but then you start in the brackets with a purl 1.
But then you'll notice that they knit 4 at the end. So each of the stitches before and after the brackets keep changing. Yeah. They keep increasing because you want the rib to stay exactly where it is the whole time. Of course, yeah. And it's just the outer. And that's why so I've done 24 rows of telling you stitch by stitch, this is how you do it. Yeah. Now, once you've done those 24 rows, you continue in the colours, but by then you will know what you're doing and you will know where those ribs are. But what I would suggest is, when you do the knit purl, put a marker, a stitch marker, before and after your 5 centre stitches. Right. And that way you can just do your increase, knit your marker stitch, do your knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1. Yeah. Just keep moving the markers. But if you can either put them on your needles, which is this one, so you slip these ones on your needles, these stitch markers.
We haven't got these for sale.
Or you can actually put them in the stitch. Now, there's pros and cons. If you put these stitch markers on, you need to knit the stitch or purl it, whichever. It's going to be knit or purl really tight because you have to allow for the width of your stitch marker.
Oh, I see. So what you're saying is put one on the needle better than putting one on the...
No, so if you do it you have to do it really tight. Yeah. If you actually put it in the stitch, it's not quite so important.
I see. So
because it's in the stitch. Right. So a lot of people use stitch markers that are like little safety pins.
That's what we have here. Yeah.
That you put in the stitch. A lot of people put them actually on their needles. Right. But if you put them on the needle, make sure you do a really tight stitch before and after. Okay, good tip. And then you just keep going.
So I need to ask a question. So when you get to row 24, you're still making it bigger, but you're going to have to start making it smaller at some point, don't you?
So we've got here, 6, 12, 18, 24.
Right.
So that would be your 24 rows.
Yeah.
So then you would just keep going on and on and on and on and on until you get it to the width you want. Now, everyone, I think I've told you how many I've done. Yes, I told you how many I worked, but everyone is going to be different.
Right.
So I worked 90 rows.
Oh, I see further on. This is why it's important to read the pattern
Really important
before
to read
you
it.
start knitting.
It's all there for you, and I'm also there. If you tag me and you can see me, but I'm also there.
So you do this, you keep doing this all the way up to 90 rows. Is that what you just said?
Yes.
And then
you
start doing down one, down one,
decreasing.
down one.
Right. So instead of, let me show you how to do that. So just imagine this is as big as I want it now.
Yeah.
So remember I said earlier that you always do the increase and the decrease after the slip stitch.
Yeah.
So to start decreasing, I'm just going to slip that first stitch, and then I'm going to knit these two together.
Right.
And all knit two together means is just literally knit the two together. So you get your right needle and you put it in the second one. So you've got the two front ones.
Yeah.
So you want to start from the second and push it forward and pick them both up.
Right.
Now I'm as I say, I'm a very loose knitter, so I can do that with ease. But sometimes you may just need to tease them like this.
Yeah.
And
you do go in from the second
one from the back to front. Yarn round and pull it off like a knit stitch, and you've now turned two of those into one. And then you carry on again. You'll have your ribbon in the centre, so you can you knit to your ribbon, do your ribbon, and then knit to the end, and then just repeat the row until you get down. And it does state there, you don't go all the way right to the 3 stitches again. You go to a certain amount of stitches, and then it tells you what to do.
Yeah, because so you don't want ribbing in the last one because it'll be the same as the other end.
But it makes it look really, really messy. It also I tried it both ways, but it looked too messy. But when you're sizing yours up, don't pull it out of shape, because if you stretch and pull it, it's not going to match. Now you will see here, and this is just how it works, is it kind of looks a bit diamondish.
Yeah.
Just as you're putting it together, and as I say, when we put it together in month 6, we will be able to square it off, and that's what the blocking's for as well. So that's the knitted version.
Lovely. Let's go to crochet now. I'll just show you again what you get. You get the 4 balls of yarn, the apple, the denim, the raspberry and the cream. And you get the instructions. Now you're going to be making this one and this one. Now, this is what I'll just show you on the knitting one, right? That's what Wendy meant about you'll see all the different pictures of the patterns there. This is the same. You get all your figures on the back of there and your drawing pictures as well, everything there. You can make this one and that one. Right, shall we do that one then? This is crochet, remember? Crochet now.
This is
now,
crochet
you either buy the crochet or the knitting. You only get the pattern for, even though the yarn is the same, you only get the pattern for the one that you're choosing to do. So this is the crochet one. And I know these are flying out. The crochet ones are absolutely flying out. Right.
So this is a square that this is the corner to corner square. And let me show you, so the other one that you would make in this is just the granny square. And again, the consistency throughout the months is going to be the knitted square in the knitted version and the granny square in this one. If you just wanted to make a blanket of all granny squares, you could do that. But as I say, we want you to learn your skills so that you can transfer them to other projects.
Okay.
So exactly the same. We start from the corner, we get wider and wider and wider, get to where we need to, and then we come back in again.
Okay.
This one is super, super easy.
Does this one have a name? Because they're the
corner,
same stick.
Well, they're just corner to corner.
Corner to corner.
Yeah. It is the granny stitch, so it's the corner to corner.
I was going to say they look like the petals off a granny square.
They're corner to corner granny. And this one here, I just wanted to show you that if you didn't want to do it in the stripes like me, you can do it how you want. So it's entirely up to you.
I like that one more. So does Elliot.
Should I say, I'm not really supposed to say, this to me looks more masculine. I don't know why. I don't know, I know I shouldn't say it. It just does. It just, because it's like
probably
blocks.
why me and Elliot like it. We're so butch.
So you can do it how you want to do it.
I agree with you. It does. It's not masculine, but it's kind of not delicate. That's
probably the word. It's bolder, isn't it? So again, you can do it exactly how you want it. You could even probably have enough to do it all in one block colour if you wanted to. But I think that it's just the skill. Now, I just wanted to show you quickly before we get onto it. These two are exactly the same. Absolutely exactly the same. That one I've done with the recommended hook that I say. And this one, I've done with a much bigger one. but they are exactly the same. So to my point that I said that you can use whatever hook or whatever size you want. If you want a big floppy open weave blanket, that's what you can do.
And again, you'll have enough yarn to do that.
You will. But be consistent. If you start with the big
hook, because you won't be then sew that to that, will you? No,
no, it's not going to go, is it? But that's exactly the same. And that one weighs about, I think the crochet version weighs slightly heavier. I think it's just under 70 grams.
But you've got 400 grams.
But you've got 400, so that's absolutely fine. I don't want people to be put off by corner to corner because it's very, very simple.
Okay.
It's just 2 stitches. The basic granny stitch, which is 3 trebles into a stitch, and the increase stitch, which is 4 trebles.
Okay. So that's all we're doing on this one. You must do chain to start with, do you or not?
I'm just going to show you that.
Okay.
Now, this one I am going to do the magic ring for this time. If you can master this, it is much better because you get a really, really nice corner stitch on here if you can do the chain, if you can do the magic ring.
Right.
If you do the chain, it's not an issue, but you do need to sew it up after.
Right.
So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to create a magic ring. So I'm going to wind.
I want to see this.
We're going to wind, just going to wind the yarn round. Now, I'm quite unorthodox because I'm a lefty, so I do this part left and then I transfer it over into my right hand because I've taught myself to crochet right-handed.
Right.
And that's it. That is your magic ring. So we do a chain 1 to secure the magic ring and then it stops it going anywhere. And we're now left with a ring.
Now, what size hook are you using now, then?
I'm only using a 5 just to show because the 4.5 is what you would normally use, which is a bit smaller, but it makes the stitches a bit smaller. And I want people to be able to see what they're doing. So we're working in trebles. Now, to work in trebles, you need to create the height for your first treble. So we're going to chain 3.
Chain 3 in the air.
So I've chained 3, and that's given me the height. Now, that's the first part of this first stitch. So that's where my increase is going to go into the next row. So now I'm going to do my 3 treble, which is my granny stitch. So I do 3 treble in there. And then I now need to do a space for my increase at the end of my row. So I do 1 more treble. And that's it. That is my first stitch. So I'm just going to pull that magic ring tight. And I've now got my first stitch. It is all in the instructions in the pictures, and I've tried to get the pictures as big as I possibly can so you can see. So this is made up of 5 trebles. One of them is a 3 chain pretending to be a treble. So then we've got a space here for our increase and a space here and then our 3 stitches in the middle. Then what we need to do is we need to turn our work and chain 3 to start our next row. So we chain 3, 1, 2, 3, because remember we need to get the height because we're working in trebles. Now I'm going to go in the space between treble 1 and treble 2. Now it was actually treble 4 and 5, but we've turned it. It does explain this. So I'm now going to do my stitch, which is 3 treble. So 1, 2, and 3, and that's 1 stitch. Sorry, it's all twisting. 1 stitch. So now there's 4 treble in that first stitch, which is my 3 treble, and that's going to be my space for my next increase. And then to finish this row, and it's exactly the same as the corner to corner technique, that you start off with 1 stitch and then the next row has 2 and the next row has 3 and 4 and so on, and that's how it increases. So to work our stitch at the end of the row, we're just locating that last space and we work 3 trebles, 1, it's very sticky and hot in there, 1 and 2 and 3, and then we do 1 more treble, which is going to create our space for our increased stitch next row. And that's how easy corner to corner is.
Elliot says, how do you know you're going through the right hole?
Right, because you have to, and again, this sounds silly, you just have to locate it, and you can be quite brutal.
He says there's lots of holes. How do you know it's the right one?
Because,
that's what he said.
Did he say it, did he say it in that tone,
Yeah,
did he?
yeah.
Right, in the instructions it tells you exactly where it's located. So I'm going to turn and do my next, I'm going to
let's
show,
do this one slowly.
I'll
We've
do
got
it
5 minutes
really
left.
slowly. So I'm going to do my 3 chain.
3
Just
chain
remember,
in the air, right.
Oh yeah, you're
Oh,
learning.
hang on. Right, now.
Now, I can pull this apart.
Yeah.
So if I pull that
Yeah.
apart, I don't know how
No, we can see it. We can see it perfectly. How do you know which? Elliot wants to know.
So
How do you know which of those holes you're going to go through?
I've got 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
These 3 make up my treble stitch, and this one here is my increase stitch hole.
Right.
So that's where you would go in. You go in the space.
Right.
Now sometimes I tell you to go into the top of the stitch, but when you're working granny stitch, you actually go in the spaces.
Yeah, because normally you go into
between.
the V, don't you? You normally go into the V of it.
This time you're going into the spaces in between.
So you've done a treble stitch and then you find the next one of those spaces to go through.
Right, so I've done my turning chain.
Yeah.
And then I've done my 3 trebles. So remember, this turning chain is going to create the space for my
next
stitch
one when you come back.
Exactly.
That way. Yeah.
So now I locate the next big space, and you can see that's my 3 treble, and then that's the massive space there.
Yeah.
So that's where I now want to do my next stitch,
Okay.
which is, remember, I'm calling a stitch.
No, not 3 chains. You do the chains at the end, Elliot. You do your
yes.
trebles now.
I think we're going to have to sit Elliot down and give him a little lesson.
He said no thanks.
Okay. Rude. So we've done our
He's
centre.
still got bad memories of having crocheted swimming trunks to do as a child.
Oh, I could make him some if he likes.
You'll need a lot of yarn.
And then now we've come to the end set of trebles, which remember are made up of the 3 trebles and that 3 chain, which has created the space to make our increase stitch.
Yeah.
And increase is 4 trebles, so 3 treble for a stitch, and then that final treble. So it's 4 trebles all into the same space.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's very warm in here, isn't it? And my
The aircon's on. You having a hot flush?
The aircon is not on.
It is on. It's been on all day.
It's just turned itself
off. It just kicked off because we've hit the lowest temperature it can go
okay
to.
then. So there, I'm hoping that that's big enough to see that that one has 1 set of trebles in.
Yeah.
That one has 2.
Yeah, that
and
one
then
has
that
3.
one has 3. The next one will have 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
And you keep going for, I did 24 rows.
Yeah.
It may be not what everyone else has. And then I'm just going to show you how to decrease quickly.
Yeah.
So when we now have got to where we want to get, so we're going to then go back in. So we turn it over and we chain 3, as we have done with every single row. But instead of going back down into that hole that we created with that 4th chain, we completely miss that set of trebles and go into the next space.
Okay.
So 1, and we do our 3 treble in there. Oh, are you coming to play? You stay there until we get there. And now we've started to create our corner. We've created our corner here. And then we carry it all the way along. I mean, I'm only doing 1, but you'll have a lot of stitches to go across the row until you get to your final set of trebles, which remember has got those 4 trebles in.
Yeah.
And we simply do 1 treble into that end space, and that closes the row. And then we turn round and then we 3 chain. We're still decreasing, so we miss that first space and we work our stitch in to that next space. And again, I'm calling the stitch is 3 sets of trebles until we get to that end space that was created by the 3 chain, and we just work 1 treble in there until you get to what we've got to, which is 1 treble set of stitches in the row, and then you just turn round and you chain 3 and you slip stitch to close your square, and that's it. And you can see it much easier in here, much easier. So I increased until I got to here, and then I decreased, and you can see those 3 chain spaces at each side. And then right in the last one, all I've done is done a 3 chain when I've got down to 1. And what you will need to do with this one, you will just need to tease it out to square it off.
Okay.
And then that's my favourite, that is. And then you can make a blanket as big as you want.
Big as you want?
As big as you want.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you so much. Let me just tell you very quickly then the crochet one. This month's crochet one, $14.99. You get the 4 balls of yarn, the raspberry, the apple, the denim and the cream. You get the instructions of how to make both of those blocks. and all the instructions and pictures and everything. $14.99 is the finished one. And there's the finished one. What else do I need to recap, Hannah? Last month's very quickly. So I've got last month's knitting one first. That's this one here. This is last month's knitted one. You get the instructions and the 4 balls of yarn. $14.99. This is episode 1, month 1. I've got a finished picture of that one. There it is. That's the knitted one, or that's
Knitted.
That's the other one, is it, from last month? Lovely. And then we've got crochet from last month. Oh, right. If any, Bex Reed's watching, if any of these sell out this month, again, I'm sure we'll be able to bring them back next month, like we do with Bird of the Month on Sewing Street and things like that. It's ongoing, isn't it, for 6 months, right? So this is the crochet one from last month. This is crochet from last month. That's the finished one there, or that one. So they're last month's. And then this month's knitting is this one. There you go. There's your yarns, raspberry, apple, denim and cream. And that will make those 2. Oh, there you go, 1. That's the one Wendy was just showing you. Oh no, knitting, when we did the knitting one. And then this month's crochet, very finally. This is your crochet one. The same colours, but then you're going to make that granny square or that diagonal square there. Have we got time to do the loves, the Yarn Lane loves? First one is the pins, right? These are the pins. These were at the beginning of the show. We showed these. When you come to your blocking out, then you might need, they're lovely pins to have. You get the 12 of the big ones and 8 of the small ones. You get 20 in total. Oh, hang on, the camera's just working its way around very slowly. There you go, there you go. Come in a nice box with the instructions in there, rainbow coloured. That is today's Yarn Lane Loves, Knit Pro Rainbow Knit Blockers, 20 of those. And then you might want this. Oh, it's very hard wearing as well. There you go, there you go. The picture on the web doesn't have the yellow ones in it, apparently. So you might get random colours on yours. Oh, they've only put 6 in the picture. You do get 9, you do get 9, you do get 9. $23.99, and then maybe Rebecca Reed didn't patch that. And then you use your pins to do your blocking like this, you see. Fantastic, isn't it? Okay. Well, I've got to go. Wendy Orlando, thank you very much indeed. When will we see you next?
I think it is the 26th, I think.
Of June?
Yes.
For both, or just
yes.
for both Yarn Lane and for Sewing Street. Thank you very much for joining us. Vix is in. Oh, you won't need to know this because Vix is on Sewing Street tomorrow. There's no Yarn Lane tomorrow. The next Yarn Lane is Wednesday, so that'll be me. Woolly Chic. Oh, Woolly Chic. What cushions? Crochet cushions on Wednesday. So I've got a day off tomorrow. I'll see you on Sewing Street. What? Oh, yeah, check out your baskets, Elliot says. Elliot says, check out your baskets right now, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll see you on Wednesday after I've done my stint at Sewing Street. Thank you very much for joining us. Goodbye.
Have you heard about Yarn Lane, a TV show dedicated to knitting, crochet and all things yarn, bringing you demonstrations from our expert guests as well as the latest tools. And find out what's coming up on the show by following us on Facebook and Instagram. Subscribe to our email newsletter or visit the programme guide on our website at www.yarnlane.com.
Are you a fan of Sewing Street and Yarn Lane? Why not join our growing Facebook fans pages? Just search Sewing Street Fans and Yarn Lane TV Fans on Facebook and click Join Group. It's that simple. Never miss out on the latest news and updates from our presenters and guest designers, special offers and plenty of chat with your fellow fans. Share photos of your makes, ask for advice, interact with your favourite guests and presenters, and be a part of the ever-growing sewing and yarn community. See you there!
Keep up to date with what's on Sewing Street and Yarn Lane, as well as all the latest news and special offers by signing up to our email newsletters. For Sewing Street, head on over to www.sewingstreet.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, type in your email address, click the envelope, and you're done. It's exactly the same for Yarn Lane. Head on over to www.yarnlane.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, type in your email address, click the envelope, and that's it. You are now subscribed to both Sewing Street's and Yarn Lane's email newsletters, so you'll never miss out on the latest news and special offers ever again.